Devils fans, Jay Bake here, Jersey Devils Brocast, bringing you a shorty for our YouTube page and other social media. To say I'm in a dark place right now, I don't know. Wouldn't maybe go that far. I have a decapitated Pete Alonso bobblehead behind me. My daughter knocked him off a table a few weeks ago, knocked his head off. I've been unable to put him back together. And I think this would be rather prophetic of what has happened over the last few days. As a Mets fan, I'm very sad and disappointed. So I'm thinking, you know what? Maybe I'll put the Devils on. Watch Devils Tampa Bay. Maybe we'll feel good. Nice win over Ottawa over the weekend. And it did not turn out that way. So I'll keep it short and sweet on that. And then we're getting to maybe some other things on some reactions to some trade rumors and things of that nature over the last few days. But just real quick on that Tampa loss, that might have been one of the worst defensive efforts I've seen from this team in a long time. Under the current construction with this core of Heischer, Brad Hughes, etc., I mean, we're probably going back 2020, 21 when they just kind of recalibrated everything, went all in on young guys. Fitzgerald took over and just, that's just what we're going to do. It's all young guys, and we're going to deal with the growing pains in games like last night. It's unacceptable now, even with the injuries. Meyer taking a leave of absence for family issues, and we hope everything is okay. And, thoughts and prayers with him and his family, and we hope everybody's doing all right. But there's no excuse for the lack of structure, the lack of competitiveness, some of the lazy plays last night, guys being grossly out of position, just completely unorganized. And you understand a game last night, you don't have Hughes, you don't have Meyer, you don't have Pesci, Dadanoff, yada, yada. No, Tampa's banged up too. I think you understand, okay, you know what, we lose 2-1, we lose 3-2. But to get your asses kicked like that is a totally different level, and it's unacceptable. And we've seen Devils teams in the past, maybe some of the old guys like myself, grew up watching this team in the 90s, 2000s, where they'd lose a few guys, but they had such structure and organization to their game that they were able to deal with it. They'd win games 2-1. They'd win games 3-2. Or maybe if they lost those games 2-1 or 3-2, it was, well, yeah, Elias is hurt. So when he comes back, we're going to be in a bit of a better spot there. Like, we're playing very well, but we're just missing those two guys. And clearly that's the difference maker. I don't know if that's the case right now. When you're just completely outclassed like that, is that it? Is it just because, well, Hughes and Pesci aren't in the lineup, so that's why. Meyer's missing a few games, so that's why. I don't know. I don't know if I really buy that anymore. Or maybe there are bigger issues here, and maybe this team is in a bit of an identity crisis. And that's something last night. I'm watching this game. I'm watching the highlights today, and I'm saying to myself, what is the identity of this Devils team? In years past, it was, we're going to play good defense and we're going to be tough to play against. We're not going to give you anything. Devils aren't going to be flashy, but we're not giving you anything. You're not going to just come in here and roll over us, and we're not going to go on the road and get rolled over in somebody else's barn. If we're going to lose a game, we're still going to be competitive. It's going to be a tough team to play against with very little mistakes, timely goal scoring, and great goaltending, right? And then Ray Shero took over. Fast, attacking, relentless. That was the identity. First few years trying to be a fast team, forecheck hard, relentless attack for 60 minutes. That was the identity of the team. What is it right now? I'd love to hear in the comments what you guys think. I'm sure we'll get some funny ones. But what is it? I don't know. What is the identity of this team? Is this we're offense and we're just going to shove it right down your throat every night with our talent? Well, they're not doing that. Is it we're a very balanced team and we're just going to come at you in waves and good luck defending against us? Well, they're not really doing that. Is it that we have this great veteran decor of Hamilton, Dillon, Siegenthaler, and all these guys, and like some young guys and Luke Hughes and Nemec, and we're just going to play great defense and have contributions from the back end? Well, they're not getting that. And it's certainly not the goaltending right now, and that's a whole other thing. You can't win with a performance like that from Markstrom. I mean, that was, and Markstrom little short with the press after the game. I don't blame him. I would have been pissed off too, but at a certain point, you got to start performing. And that was terrible. I don't really know how to describe that. That's the worst I've seen him. And I'm a big Markstrom guy. I'm on the record. I like Jacob Markstrom a lot. I'm on the record. I was happy that he was staying with the Devils for 2 more years because I like having a veteran goalie. And goaltending in this league is tough right now. It's not the way it used to be, folks. You don't have all these elite franchise number one, goalies left and right. Back in the day, it seemed like everybody had a Brodeur and a Belfour and Hasek and Waugh and Cujo and Barrasso and all over the place. And now you basically only have a few, and everybody else is a tandem. But this tandem certainly didn't look good last night. And if there's something we saw 2 years ago, is you get bad goaltending, it doesn't matter how well the team plays in front of you, you're not going to win. And after a while, that wears your team down too. So it just seems like right now, I don't know where this team is at because it seems like everything is just bad. They're not playing a structured, good game, competitive games where it's obvious. Well, we missed Jack Hughes. We're losing games 3-2, 2-1. We're missing our engine up front. Okay. And you can argue Pesci being out has been a huge issue defensively. A game like last night, Pesci would have been out there against Braden Point and Kucherov. Maybe that would have been a difference. Maybe they would have won 4-3 last night. Maybe. I don't know. But I don't know what the identity of this team is. I'm kind of at a loss. For the first time as a Devils fan, I don't know if I really do because that was such a big part of this team for years was, yeah, that's the trap. It's defense. If you think it's boring, nobody cares. We're winning cups. Nobody cares. Let the Rangers play all offense and lose every year. That's fine. But we're going to be a tough team to play against. We're going to play great defense and good luck trying to break through us. And then again, Ray Shero took over, bit of a change, but still an identity. We're going to be fast. We're going to be relentless. We're going to attack. We're going to be on the offensive. I don't know what the identity of this team is. And if anybody has an idea, please leave a comment. Let me know. Let us know. We'd love to hear it. Maybe we could read some of these comments and talk about that on the show next week. But Sheldon Keefe also had some interesting comments before I move on to some of the trade stuff. Two quotes that I thought were great, and I put this up on Facebook today too. We can't flush this one out. We got our ass kicked, Sheldon Keefe admitted. We were outworked, outcompeted, outclassed in lots of ways to just push past through. There's some real lessons in this one. We haven't played a game yet this season with a full lineup. That said, there are injuries happening all across the league, including the team we played here, Tampa. You can't have this drastic of a drop. I thought we took some real good steps on the road, and disappointed we couldn't bring that here. That sums everything up. So, team meeting after the game. Huge weekend coming up. I don't think anybody thought games against Anaheim and Vancouver were going to potentially make or break a season. But this is starting to feel like we're getting to a crossroads here of where they need to start putting this together, or we need to start thinking about some major moves to really shake this up. In saying that, I think one of the biggest questions has been in the league is where does Quinn Hughes play this year? Is it Vancouver? Is it Devils, Detroit? We've heard Philly. We've heard kind of everybody across the board. My question is, does it make sense right now for the Devils to bring Quinn Hughes in? Are they a Quinn Hughes away from being a contender and a competitive team? If they're so top heavy, they're constantly an injury away from disaster. Does Quinn Hughes solve that problem? And I think it's the Lamoriello analogy of the orchestra and Ken Danico was the drummer and, we need more drummers or this or that. Okay. In saying there's a point there. You don't build a team with just the most skilled guys you can find because then you're all skilled and you don't have all the other things. Or the Devils may be lacking a lot of those blue collar guys that make you hard to play against. Guys that show up every night and don't make a lot of mistakes. Guys that are going to grind things out, get to the front of the net, get those tough goals, those goals that you need in the playoffs because now all of a sudden the skill versus those hard working goals, all of a sudden everything starts to recalibrate come playoff time. I love Quinn Hughes. Would love to have him on the Devils. He's clearly a top 5 defenseman in the game. Anyone would be crazy to not want him. My question is, the Devils with limited resources, though they have some, is it worth it to dump most of those into Quinn Hughes when this team has so many other issues? So many other issues. I'd love to see Ryan O'Reilly on this team. If you can get O'Reilly, another top 6 forward, and then bring in Quinn Hughes, that's a different story. But this team has constructed, if you bring in Quinn Hughes, are you just reinforcing more of the problem? You're top heavy, you have some stars, you have franchise guys. It's all those other guys that, frankly, used to make the Devils back in the day, the Maddens and Pandolfos and Langenbrunners. And even random guys like, like trading for Brad Lukowich, who ended up being a great pickup defensively for the Devils. Picking up guys like Tommy Albaline back in the 90s, and then when he came back later in his career. Other guys in the 2012 run that just make that lineup work, give you options, give you four lines. You bring in a guy like Quinn Hughes, that's great. The Devils might have their top starting five could be among the most talented in the game. If you were going to do Bratt, Hughes, Heischer with Quinn Hughes and Luke Hughes, that might be one of the most talented in hockey. But what about the rest of the team? And that's my question. What about the rest of the team? If constructing a team is kind of like a pie chart of all these different slices and pieces, I look at it as you got your core guys, that makes up half the team, but the other half is just as important. And maybe there's more players involved, but if that is incomplete, which it is obvious it is right now, I just don't know if Quinn Hughes pushes this team to the point we would expect bringing a guy like Quinn Hughes. Love to have him. I'd be very happy if he came to New Jersey, but I'm not sold that that is going to solve the problem. And to sum all this up, they need to find some sort of identity here. And maybe that comes within with that team meeting. We're going to take a look at all these guys in this room and figure out what are we? How are we going to play? How are we going to win? What are we all about? And I think until that's figured out, until they get some depth guys up front, I don't know if the major issues and red flags with this team are solved simply with just a Quinn Hughes trade. So in saying that, going to sign off for now. Thanks for watching. We are going to be live on Radio Garden State Tuesday nights, 9 to 10, keeping New Jersey loud. You can listen on the Audacy app, Tunein app, and RadioGardenState.com. And, of course, you can follow us on Instagram and Facebook, Jersey Devils Brocast. Follow us on YouTube. And we are just getting our X or Twitter or X page started and going. Feel free to comment, like, subscribe, and we'll see you Tuesday night.